Okay, if you're anything like me, you need a list to figure out your grocery list. But we have our favorite nutritionist, Alicia, here to help us figure it out. Alicia, I'm embarrassed because, it should be a simple task to put together a grocery list, but I'm terrible at it. I mean, I know the basics, but help me out.
You know what? It starts by just making a list is better than no list.
Okay, I'm there. At least have a start. But, I know to put on, like the basic items, but I think it's the meal planning that's the hardest. How do I know what I'm going to need all week long?
So it's important to have different categories on your grocery list. You want to have frozen foods. I love frozen vegetables. That's something you want to have in your freezer all the time because they're just as nutrient dense as having fresh fruits and vegetables. So it's something you can make foods with all the time. You can make quick stir fries and really lots of easy meals with them. Then you want to have your proteins, your carbs, and a treat. I love having my treat category.
I might start there is my problem, but I guess maybe I shouldn't do that, huh?
Yeah, I like to have at least one treat for myself because I feel like we're human, we make mistakes. I might as well plan my treat and my little cheat meal than just, fail throughout the week multiple times.
Well, if it was up to me, I would just eat the same thing all week long, so I wouldn't have to think about it. But I got other kids in the house, basically. So how do I make sure that there's enough variety for them? I think it's great to go to the grocery store with your kids and stick to the perimeter. So as you're shopping, maybe have the list and have your son or daughter take a look at it and help you cross things off the list. So as you're walking, ask them, do you see anything on the list that's around here? And as you're shopping, you're already thinking of, meals you can be making throughout the week. That's a great idea about having him help me with the list, because he's like a CIA interrogator. Like, he will break me down. I can say no to him on 5 different items that he's going to pull off the shelf, but by the 5th one, I'm done. But if he doesn't see it on the list, that might help me say, I'm sorry, it's not on the list.
Exactly.
It's not
and it turns into a game. So he can actually sit there and check things off and have fun with it. So
is there a strategy I should have with the grocery store? I mean, sometimes I just walk around lost. So what kind of strategy should I have?
Definitely stick to the perimeter is my favorite advice to give people. Just stay on the outside, get your produce, your proteins, your dairy, and get out. Stay away from the aisles. You really don't need any of those,
the
extras, the fluff that's there for your pantry.
What about the bread? That's where I get a little worried. Like when I go into the whole bread aisle and there's so much good stuff there.
Yeah.
Should I just avoid that altogether, or can I include breads?
Yeah, definitely. You want to include breads. I like eating breads. I like having Ezekiel sprouted breads, but I would recommend staying away from the white breads just because they're higher in sugars and carbs, and it's harder to digest. So But
even some of the wheat breads, I mean, I get confused because I know there's a lot of wheat breads that seem healthy, but they're not. So how do I keep track of that?
Yes. Look at the ingredient list. The food labels are amazing. They look very complicated, but if you look at the ingredients, scroll all the way down and look at the bottom there, it'll help decode a lot of the questions you might have about your breads or
So
foods.
What's the difference between a good wheat bread versus a bad wheat bread?
You want to make sure that the first ingredient isn't unbleached flour, because in that case you know that it's higher in sugars and you don't want that in your diet.
Another question I have, I get all those flyers from the grocery store, and I don't know what to do. I mean, I don't know if I should pay attention to them, line the kitty litter with it. Is it important to go through them and plan out your week based on what's on sale?
Yeah, I definitely would, because a lot of the time the proteins are expensive. So I like to go. I won't stick to a menu. I'm not going to say, okay, this week I'm going to make my prime rib or chicken, and then you go to the store and it's $5.99 a pound for the chicken. I'm going to skip it that week. And it helps, again, to look at the first page because they have the proteins. They might have some coupons on there that you can use. But, yeah, I would definitely use it as a little cheat sheet almost for your grocery list.
Okay, so if I go to my favorite store, I look at their flyer, I look at what's on sale, then decide, okay, I am going to make a chicken dish or a beef dish this week. And then is the next step looking for a recipe that matches that? Is that the best way to do it?
Yeah, I would definitely do that. I would look at, there's so many resources online on Instagram now for recipes, so definitely take a look and make yourself a simple recipe.
Okay, and then do you have a favorite recipe you like to go to?
Favorite recipe, easy. I'll use one herb and Dijon. So I'll do chicken and like a teaspoon of Dijon and some rosemary or cilantro. That's it.
Okay, well that sounds simple. You put it on the list. Now the next thing is just to stick with it at the grocery store. But thanks so much for all these great tips, Alicia, and we'll be back with more Every Way Woman.